Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea. Another day of college basketball and another day of March getting closer. We're, 10 to 11 days away, I think, from the Selection Sunday. So getting closer to that, getting closer to the bigger conference tournaments, obviously. We still have some more mid-major tournaments, this week. We have some women's tournaments too starting this week. Pac-12 starting today for women's basketball. We'll get into our recap from yesterday. Korea 1-1, so close to 2-0 for you. What did you take away from your two plays the other day?
Yeah, going to Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Monroe was the right read, just horrible beat. I mean, they played the foul game with 3 minutes left, and it was pretty much over when that had started to happen. By the time it got to about one and a half, about 90 seconds left, it was just already going back and forth at the free throw line, and they were making their shots at the line, so that under was cooked, and we had a chance because the under had was up by one with 5 seconds left, and he misses one of the two free throws. He misses the first one, he makes the second one, and the over cashes by one. So the under 145 and a half was beat by one. So I'm not going to beat myself too much up for it. It was just a Sun Belt, Sun Belt, the mid majors, man. I don't know what's going on with for first the A Sun. I mean, you want to talk about March? Not a single favorite except for Stetson has won in the A Sun tournament. Not a single favorite. Not a single favorite except for Stetson. That means if you just blindly are just taking the other team to cover or win on the money line, you're up so many units from the A Sun tournament right now. This is unbelievable madness right now. But Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Monroe, bad beat by one, just a tough read. But Kansas by 10, by 20 was free. I told you they were winning by double digits. This is a revenge spot. It was a little shaky in the first half. Kansas didn't really get their offense going much of the first half, and then second half it was just the all Kansas show. That's when their offense really started to come full force. It was a really good showing from the Jayhawks at home, especially to get that big solidified home to kind of finish off the season. Obviously Dickinson, having the dominant day he had inside, 20 rebounds. You only have 15 points, but when you have 20 rebounds, obviously you're you're kind of that guy. And then just to kind of see how KJ McCullough, Timberlake as well, and Adams as well, seeing this Kansas team finally healthy is really good. But that's the one thing with Kansas. The one caveat is, are they going to be fully healthy? When are we going to see them fully healthy? So are we going to see them fully healthy for the tournament or not? We'll see. But it was nice to see them get the big dominant win at home against their in-state rival on senior night. It was definitely a great play before they go on the road to finish off the season with their biggest test at Houston. But I liked Kansas in the spot -10 yesterday. That was a great read. So should have been 2-0, but just tough beat with with Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Monroe playing in the foul game with 3 minutes left in the game, and then by the time it got to 90 seconds, both teams were already at their line. So it was already over. So it was just a tough beat there. But I should have been 2-0. But Ari, how'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, tough 0-2 day for me. The Bama Florida under the first half was looking pretty good. I was kind of keeping up with the live line, and it got as low as 160, late in the first half, early in the second half, and then they just dropped 100. I think it was 112, 113 points in the second half, which obviously these are two good offenses and whatnot, and Bama doesn't play much defense, but still 113 for one half. No matter who's playing, is obviously a lot. So, I think it needed 98 points to go over in the second half, and which even 98 to 100 is obviously a heck of a lot for one half. So, that ended up kind of soaring over, even though it was on pace to go under by a decent amount at halftime. So that's how that went. And then at San Diego State, we knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. I believe they went down, I think it was 27-10 early in the first half. Then they fought back, and it was close throughout most of the second half. They got to 2 with 5 minutes left or 6 minutes left, something like that. But then UNLV pulled away. Obviously, it was a big win for UNLV. I'm not sure if they have a chance in that large, but another resume's kind of up and down in terms of like some really bad losses and some big wins. I'm not really sure where they stand, but also they needed that win, like we mentioned, yesterday, and they got it. So yeah, tough 0-2 day that I'll look to bounce back today.
Yeah, I think we're just going to be looking to stay away from any Alabama unders from now on,
I mean
because
they've hit at times this year. I thought this is a good spot, but
I
yeah, no.
trust me, I know, but obviously, just enough fun. Obviously, we talk about how offensively, Alabama, one of the better teams at home, so we like to target them at home, and then on the road, obviously, their defense is a little bit of ease. We've seen them, against some, but sometimes obviously we've seen them, handle some, teams like Ole Miss. But at the same time, Ole Miss, not the greatest scoring team, but against Florida, who is a lot better offensively at home, and then Kentucky, obviously a lot better offensively at home. It was just a tough beat for you, obviously, especially since you mentioned, how the first half it was looking pretty good, but and then obviously San Diego State. That was a tough beat for you as well. It was a pretty back and forth game, and then UNLV kind of ran away with it late. And you mentioned UNLV's chances. I believe they went from not even being considered to having a 1% chance now as an at large. So shout out to UNLV. You have a 1% chance of now being an at large. It's pretty much just Mountain West tournament or bust for them. That's pretty much what it's going to be for UNLV. But that was a big win for the Rebels at home. I kind of knew that was a. I was looking at San Diego State, but I knew UNLV at home, and especially I believe that's exactly where the term is going to be held at the Thomas and Mack Center. So UNLV does have a lot of home court advantage, especially with how they've been playing this year. They can be a sneaky team to potentially win the Mountain West tournament. That's why a lot of people are saying potentially a 7-team league, with UNLV as a bid stealer just because of how dominant they are at home. But obviously, that was a tough beat for you, 0-2 day for you, unfortunately. But you said look to bounce back today. And as I like to do, like to bounce back, especially after that crushing under yesterday. In fact, we're just going to do the same system and run it back today, people. That's right. Our first play. I know you have never heard of these schools. I know you have never seen these schools. I know you don't know where these schools are. But just hear me out here. Southern Indiana, Tennessee State. This game is going to go under 145 today. It's about minus 135 on DraftKings. It's the same system yesterday, people. This is a neutral court game. The under is in play here. Now, what's the system? I'll read it off to you once again. Neutral court unders for conference tournaments. Game must be played at a neutral court. Luckily for us, the Ohio Valley Conference is at a complete neutral court. And it's every single day from today till Saturday. So this system can be in play for every single. We can have a game every single day till Saturday. This could be amazing. And then the game, obviously, conference game, because this is obviously the Ohio Valley Conference tournament, and the total has to be over 140 or higher. And this started at about 146, and it's already going 45. I believe it's now live at about 144 and a half or somewhere in that range. I was looking at the other game. I think it was like Eastern Illinois and some other team, and that total was already at around 140 and a half, and that was already kind of low for this system. But we're just going to run back the same system that we just tried because, like I said, last 5 years, this is hitting at a 57% clip. And, we had a tough beat yesterday with it just by 1 point, people. By 1 point. But not even by 1 point. By half a point. By half a point, technically. But 1 point, obviously. But just a tough beat because, they played the 3-throw game even though they didn't need to with about 3 minutes remaining. So we're going to go repeat that same system today with Southern Indiana and Tennessee State in the Ohio Valley Conference. We're taking that under 145. It's about minus 135 on DraftKings. And then in pretty much the game of the night, arguably, I have UConn -5. That's minus 110 on DraftKings. And look, people, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look directly into the camera for this. I don't care if Tyler Kolek's there. I don't care if Iguodaro's there. I don't care if Shaka Smart is the sixth man playing defense for this team. You cannot stop UConn. You can do all you can. Creighton did. Okay, it was a nice special moment. I've heard rumors that Kolek potentially will miss this game, and I believe he's out for the final two games if I'm not mistaken. So UConn getting 5 points with Marquette without their star point guard. And UConn, the best team in the country, is only getting 5 points? Really? Are we serious with ourselves here? UConn -5 here. This team is going to just walk in and handle their business. This is what they do. UConn is the best team in the country, repeat for a reason. This is my favorite system. Just hammer the UConn spread, especially in this great spot. If this was, a healthy Marquette team, then I could see them having a better chance. But missing Kolek with that point guard, ring general that kind of gets this offense going is such a huge loss for them. And we saw how badly they got beat down in Connecticut when Marquette traveled over to UConn, and it was just an absolute massacre. I think it was the Valentine's Day massacre. And we're gonna see how badly UConn is gonna walk into Wisconsin, just easily handle Marquette tonight. I feel like UConn, now getting 5 points in this revenge spot for Marquette, is not great, especially with that line, I think, opening at around 5 or 5.5. So it's definitely what I like it. I looked at UConn -5, and I like it there at -110. So those are my two favorite plays today. So in Tennessee State, I'm taking that under the same system we just talked about from yesterday, just implementing it today and hoping it hits. And then UConn -5, I believe this is a great spot for UConn. I don't know why they're only getting 5 with Tyler Kolek out. And, we already talked about how Marquette has kind of been having some injury trouble as of late. But I like UConn in this revenge spot. Ooh, revenge spot. Whatever. If Shaka Smart is the sixth man on defense, then maybe Marquette has a chance. But I like UConn -5 in this spot. Those are my 2 plays for today. Ari, what have you cooked up for that day?
Yeah, 2 plays for me today. We'll start off with the college play. Seton Hall, again, just backing the home team. Nova's been playing better as of late. They won 2 in a row, 4 or 5. Seton Hall's, I think they've gotten crushed their last 2 games against UConn, Creighton, obviously 2 of the top teams in the conference. And now they're back at home against Villanova, and they're the favorite, despite not playing so well recently, albeit against better competition. And Nova playing well, albeit against worse competition as of late, obviously. But again, mostly just backing the home team here in the Big East, which is, obviously home court matters a lot across all of college basketball. But I feel like Big East especially matters a lot with home court. So I think it's like a 1-point spread. So it's taking them on the money line -118. And then going back to the NBA tonight, we're less than 20 games left in the regular season already. Lakers are currently in the 9 seed. They're 2.5 back of the 6 seed to try to avoid the play-in. So obviously every game matters. They're playing the Kings, who just blew a 20-point lead and lost at home to the Bulls on Monday. The Kings are just a weird team this year. They beat Minnesota, and then who's like the number 2 seed in the West, and then they blew a 20-point lead at home to the Bulls. So they're up and down. The Lakers are coming off a big win over the Thunder on Monday. And I'm looking for them to carry that momentum into this game, or they could win by 5 to 10 plus over the Kings, who have just been up and down. And, the Lakers have been up and down as well, but they're fully healthy now. They should have everybody. LeBron's questionable, but, it's not a back-to-back. He should be playing. So give me Seton Hall straight up in the money line, basically even money, and then Lakers -2 tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at the Seton Hall money line at -118, or pretty much it was looking at a pick 'em, at the opening, as soon as the lines open. But I do like Seton Hall. You mentioned at home, the Big East. The home team does have a big system play here. Except when your face in UConn or Marquette. But I do like Seton Hall today. Obviously, you're just taking the better team at home. Obviously, even though Seton Hall, coming off two really bad games against UConn and Creighton, where they just did not look good. They're coming up now. They have Villanova at home, and it's definitely a great spot for them. They come in this. It's pretty much a winning get-in situation for both teams. For you, Villanova, and for and for Seton Hall. But you're just taking the home team, and I do agree with you on that. So I would lean Seton Hall money line. I just didn't really like how too close of a spread that was. I was hoping Seton Hall would maybe be little bit more of a bigger favorite. So maybe I
I
take
mean,
Villanova spread or something. I know.
coming off two losses and Villanova winning 4 or 5, I think is part of that. Even though Villanova beat like Georgetown twice and Butler, but I think that was
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of just recent trends, and Seton Hall coming off two bad losses. Villanova, they've been hot, but they've been playing, Georgetown and Butler, not really the top competition. And now Villanova has, two big games ahead of pretty much winning get-in situations in terms of their March Madness hopes and their dreams. So, this is a big game, and I do like Seton Hall. I do like them on the money line as well. I've been New England Lakers -2. Like you said, the Kings have always been an up and down team this year. You mentioned, just beating the Minnesota Timberwolves, the number 2 seed out in the West now, but then, collapsing against the Bulls, a very up and down team. Now, Lakers at home always been one of the more dominant teams, so just take it on -2. Definitely a good play for you. Those are Ari's 2 favorite plays. My 2 favorite plays, obviously, Southern Indiana, Tennessee State going under 145, and then UConn -5 on the road at Marquette, taking the better team on the spread. You can find both of these plays and both of Ari's plays on our Twitter, AKP Sports Talk. That is our Twitter. You can find our full card along with this video. We'll be posted momentarily as soon as this video ends. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That is Ari. I'm Korea. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow with some more picks. And like I said, we'll be getting closer and closer to March Madness, but obviously as well, MLB right around the corner. Next Wednesday, mark your calendars. That'll be the 13th, and I believe in exactly 1 week, we're going to be doing our big MLB episode. We're going to be covering our season totals in terms of team wins. We're going to be covering player season totals, whether it's home runs, strikeouts, RBIs, stolen bases, whatever player props we're looking at. We're going to be doing a full episode of MLB. That's going to be in 1 week from today on Wednesday, March 13th. So mark your calendars for that. But as for this episode, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you guys tomorrow.